Grade 4, will they change the meta? Let's find out. Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well as always, and for today, I am gonna be introducing one of the grade 4 in set 13, which is Exculpate the Blaster. So obviously we will be playing it with Majestic Lord Blaster aka MLB, mainly because Exculpate the Blaster requires a Blaster card in the soul to utilize its ability. As you know, MLB have always been a really strong deck, but ever since cards that support MLB got nerfed, other decks like Eradicators and mostly Limit Break overtake MLB because of that. Will MLB be viable again? Maybe, but before we find that out, first, let's take a look at the deck list. Okay, as you can see, the deck list is pretty much the same as last time. The only additional card added is Exculpate the Blaster because that's the only Blaster support we got in set 13. So let's take a look at what Exculpate the Blaster actually does. So as you can see, this card has multiple skills. The first one is, this unit cannot attack if you don't have a Blaster Blade in your soul. The second one is, if Blaster Blade is in your soul, Counter Blast 3 to get 2 of the following abilities, which is, when this unit attacks, it attacks all of your opponent unit in one attack. So it's kind of like Vermilion but better because it attacks all 5 rear guards instead of your front row. But the second one is not the best because it's kind of like a cooldown ability if you ask me. As it states, at the end of the battle this unit attack, write a Blaster Blade from your soul as rest and put the rest of your soul to the drop zone. So you pretty much become a grade 2. And the last skill is, if your Vanguard is a grade 3 Blaster, you can normal call this unit. So that's really good because it's a grade 4 where you can't really normally call to the rearguard circle unless your Vanguard is a grade 4. But if your Vanguard is MLB, you can just call this unit to the rearguard, and it's really good as a 13k beatdown attacker because you know 13k plus a Maron is a 21k attacker, and against a 13k your opponent can't really attack it without a boost, so that's really good in my opinion. So if you ask me, this skill is pretty much a final turn play since you'll go back to a grade 2 after its ability. And also, another new additional card you don't play back in MLB day is SSD, which is Soul Saver Dragon. I do believe Soul Saver Dragon will work well in this deck because the moment you write Exculpate the Blaster, you'll have more than enough soul to use its ability, and once you are going to the grade 4 play, you pretty much have to win on that turn, and by pairing it with Soul Saver Dragon, you can increase the power of your rearguards. And that's super important since you are going to be attacking your opponent Vanguard first, and if your opponent check a defensive trigger, your rearguard can still push through it. So this pretty much sums up for the newly added card. Don't think I have to explain how MLB works, right? So how you're gonna win with this deck is pretty simple. First, you want to set up your MLB and push your opponent to 5 damage, and once you're at 5, that's where you will try to close the game out with Exculpate the Blaster. So for this video, I will only have 2 games to show you guys because there's really isn't much stuff to do. It's a pretty straightforward deck if you ask me. The first game will be against Revengers aka Shadow Paladin, and the second game will be against Kagero. I will have the timestamp in the description down below so you can choose which one to watch, but I do highly recommend watching both since those 2 decks are really different. So, will an additional grade 4 support pull MLB back to tier 1? Let's find out. Okay, so the first game is gonna be against Shadow Paladin, which is Revengers, and in my opinion, Revengers is the strongest deck right now in this game. So let's find out how MLB with the new support Exculpate the Blaster fare against such a strong deck in the current meta right now. So this hand is pretty good. I might even just mulligan 1 as you can see because I run the grade 3 searcher as my starter, and I can just search MLB if I'm lucky, but if I don't, I think this is gonna be really bad. So let's pray we get MLB with our grade 3 searcher later on. But worst case scenario, we do have our drop draw if we need to. And here, he's still playing Clouders even it got nerfed to Counter Blast 2 instead of 1. And here I'm just gonna write my K because I value my drop draw a little bit higher, just in case we don't get the MLB we needed. And I could even use the drop draw skill. But first let's use Gunslot skill because, you know, I want to write my Blaster Blade and not Blaster Dart since I have 2 Blaster Blade in my hand, since Gunslot equal to Blaster Blade. And here he get a draw, that's fine, you know. A draw on the first check, you know, it's pretty common, so you can't really be too salty about it, but since the game is still early on, it's fine. And here you can see he's taking a slow approach, so there's a good chance he don't have Tattooed in his hand, otherwise I think he might have caught it. And here we draw Exculpate the Blaster, which is our finisher. And you can see I did decide to write Blaster Blade and not Star-Crossed Trumpeter just because if I want to use my starter skill, I need to have a boost to hit his Vanguard. But if I ride my Blaster Blade, I don't need a boost. And here we did get MLB, but our hand looking a bit clunky. So maybe, I guess I can draw my Star Core, because I don't think I need to use 2. And we draw a Battlefield, which is really good. And here we use our gun slot skill, which pretty much increase our odds of checking heal trigger, since we can heal if we check it right now. But we didn't check it, so it's fine. And that's 1 PG down, that's good. Against deck that can swing for 2 damage in 1 attack, you want to have your PG. So that's 1 down, 3 to go. And here he do have his break right, so good for him. So here he uses Clouder skill without Dorian. So that's super expensive, as you can see, Count Blast 2 and trade your starter for a Grade 2. Is that really a good skill? Not in my opinion. I mean, if it's Count Blast 1 like last time, it's still pretty good. But even then, I'm still running Creeping Dark Gold. But here, trading 2 Count Blast for a Grade 2 feels bad, man, feels bad. So this tells me he might not have any Grade 2 in his hand. Otherwise, why would he do that? He might have a Grade 3 and a Grade 1 hand, you never know. And here, we are just looking for PG, because if we don't have PG, we actually might die, since we are going to allow him to break right. Because we have to push him to 5, otherwise we can't close the game out with our Grade 4. And there's no reason to use your Count Blast. So when you're playing the newly built MLB with your Grade 4, you don't really want to use too much Count Blast, because you want to save 3 Count Blasts for your Grade 4. So do take note. And then I'm just going to drop Star Core and try to fish for PG, and we did not get it, but at least it is a gun slot, so we can still recycle it. But if we don't drop draw, we will check a heal, which is going to be really good, but too bad, too bad. And here, we are going to push him to 5. Guarantee, unless you check a heal. Okay, another draw is fine, because we can still hit through his Vanguard, so it doesn't really matter. And here is 1 PG check, and no PG, no heal, no draw for us, okay. But we're at a 12k base. That means if you set up a Blaster Dark column, it's only 16. And if you get a defensive trigger, we might be able to survive. So let's see. Can he close the game up here? Because if he can't close the game here, there's a good chance we finish off the game on the next turn, since we do have enough Count Blast for our Grade 4. And we met all the conditions for our Grade 4 ability as well, which is the Blaster Blade in the Soul, and etc. So here he called Tattoo, that's interesting. But like I said, his Tattoo column is only 20k, at most 21, and if I get a trigger, I shut down his left or right column, one of those columns, and if those columns got shut down, there's a really good chance of us surviving. Okay, are you not gonna call Grade 1 to replace your Grade 0? Oh wait, or is he gonna use, wait, what is this guy doing? Okay, we did get a trigger, so that's pretty lucky of us. So it doesn't really matter if he... Wait, no, because he runs 10k, if he caught a 7k booster behind his 10k, using his moderate skill, he might have won a game, just saying, but... Obviously, judging by his play, he's not an experienced Revengers player, so I can't really blame him. And here we got super lucky with double draw trigger, wow! Now our Vanguard is 32k! And we got no PG. And he have no boost for his Vanguard, that means he need to check double trigger to win the game. Okay, that's one. Is he really gonna check another one? Can you not, please? Okay, we are good, we are safe. So now, he will need 3 PG to survive. So finger crossed he doesn't have it, since 1 is in the damage zone. Wait, is that the second one? Or is that the first one? I have no clue. And as you can see, there's no right animation, because I don't think Exculpate the Blaster is in the anime. Correct me if I'm wrong. And here you can see, Count Blast 3 to use his skill, pretty cool animation. And we're just gonna call 2 Grade 2s. And we can even drop draw, to be honest. Yeah, I think drop draw is fine. As you can see, we have no more Blaster Blade in the soul, so we can't return our huge trigger, and we did draw a PG off the top, so that's really good. And here, I totally forgotten that Battlefield is still a 12k even if I write my grade 4. As well, you can see me replacing my grade 1 with a grade 1 that can actually boost. And we did get a trigger, so he can't really rely on huge trigger if he only got 1 PG. So now he needs at least 1 more PG to survive. So as you can see, we gone back to grade 2 after Exculpate the Blaster attack. That is why I do feel like the grade 4 is a good finisher. But if you don't finish off your opponent using a grade 4, then you're going to be in trouble. And that is game 1 going to us. So as you can see, Exculpate the Blaster is really good in MLB because MLB can push your opponent to 5 really quickly. And once your opponent is at 5, you don't really need MLB skill anymore since it's 2 crits. But rather, having Exculpate the Blaster can attack off your opponent rearguard, and by doing so, you can pretty much deny their intercept, and this way, they will need 3 PG to survive, at least 3. And I guess this concludes game 1, so now, let's take a look at game 2. Okay, so now game 2 against Kagero, which is a deck that can burn your rearguard, so obviously not the best matchup. So let's see our starting hand. Pretty good. Pretty good, but do we really need 2 PG though? But I guess we can full keep it. Let's not be greedy. We are just missing our blaster, that's all. And our starter can hopefully search a gun slot, which equals to a blaster blade. And we top deck a blaster duck, so that's really good. That's really good. So here, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm just checking if my animation is on, and it is on. And here we write Maron. And Maron is a really good card in this deck just because pairing it with your Exculpate the Blaster makes a perfect 21k column. And always do put your starter behind your Vanguard because a 4k boost is really good with your MLB pairing to make a perfect 16k column, or even with your Exculpate the Blaster to make a perfect 17k column. And here 1 PG down, that's fine, we got 2 in our hand, we don't need any more to be honest. And here we top deck a Lian, which I have nothing bad to drop draw, so hopefully our Gucci Searcher find us the gun slot we needed. And I didn't even use my starter skill. That's interesting. Why didn't I use my starter skill? I have no clue. I mean, with 1 Counter Blast, they can't really burn my starter anyway, unless they run the new grade 4, grade 2 that can actually burn a rearguard with just 1 Counter Blast. But interesting to see that I didn't use my grade 3 Sergio. And here you can see I'm playing Palomidis, which is a bad card to play because I totally forgotten that Palomidis is not a 13k attacker if your Vanguard is a grade 4, because I thought is if you have 2 or more grade 3 and above, not grade 3. That's why I actually cut it off in the actual deck list. And here, I think I'm gonna use my Lian skill first. I think that's a better ordering. Nope, okay. Just gonna use my Gucci Searcher. And we did find the gun slot. That's really good. And because that, we can set up our MLB on our first turn of our grade 3 turn. And as you can see, even a lot of cards that support MLB got nerfed. MLB is still really good. And the odds view pulling off the skill on the moment you ride it is still pretty high because of your grade 3 Searcher. And that's why you also run 3 Starcore Trumpeter, because you really want to pull off the skill the moment you ride MLB. And we get a draw trigger, okay. And another Exculpate the Blaster, that's really good because we can call 1 to the rearguard, and we just need Maron to make a perfect 21k column to hopefully beat his heal trigger once we are going for the kill. And here he right, Thunder's Dragon, okay, but you're already at 4. Do you really have the time to break, right? Maybe. But since he's at 4, I don't really want to ride my grade 4 yet. And he only got 1 grade 2 on the board, so it's not the best scenario to ride it. And we get a heal trigger. That means he will need a trigger to hit through my Vanguard right now. And if you don't get it, he's in a really bad spot. Okay, he didn't really get it. That's too bad for him. And here we got Star Core. We could go for Star Core, but like I say, you do want to save a Counter Blast properly and not overuse your Counter Blast, otherwise you can't use your Grade 4 skill anymore. That's why you see I didn't really use my Star Core effect. And here I'm decided to stay on MLB just on one more turn because like I say, you want to push your opponent to 5 before you write your Grade 4. Otherwise you are in risk of losing if you don't finish your opponent the moment you write your Grade 4. And here he's going to 5, so that's good. And he at most only have 3 more PG. And the odds of him having 3 is really low, to be honest, because he's only half his deck right now. And here he's going for the break right, but it's not a DN, so still feeling pretty safe. And you notice he only has 3 cards in his hand. That means he's going to drop all 3 cards. And if you drop all 3 cards, that means he don't have any PG in his hand. So there's a good chance we can close the game next turn. Unless he check like a double heal or something. The odds of us winning is pretty high. And that's 1 PG down. So only 2 to go. And let's see, will he drop any PG? He did. That means he at most only have 1 and that's game. You need 3 to survive, and if you check a heal, you need 2 to survive. So I'm pretty sure we won this game, and what's better is if we can top deck a Maron to hopefully beat his 6 damage shield. Ooh, we did top deck a Maron, that's really good. And imagine the Palominis if it's Soul Saber Dragon right now. We can make big numbers, but because it's not, we can only make a 18k column with a column of 13k attacker. Because you can see, I call it behind my Exculpate the Blaster and not behind my Palominis because I thought it's a 13k attacker even with grade 4, but it's not. So luckily we did get a trigger, but I don't think it matters, right? Yeah, I don't think it matters because he got no PG anyways. And no 6 damage shield, I mean he will need 2. Holy shit, he did get a 6 damage shield. Okay. Okay. Can you get another one, my friend? And he do run the grade 4 as well, which I have no idea he did. Okay, 1 more attack. And that is game 2 going to us as well. And I guess this concludes the whole deck guide video. So same as always, do make sure to leave a comment down below letting me know how you feel about this deck or Exculpate the Blaster in general. Is it really worth playing MLB again just because of an additional grade 4 card added to the deck? Or is MLB still bad? And yeah, I guess this should be it. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for next video. Goodbye.